He gets 2 verses. 2 verses. In the entire Bible. No origin story, no backstory, no army, no sword, no chapter named after him. He shows up, does something completely insane, and then disappears. And most Christians have never even heard his name. His name was Shamgar. He was a farmer. And with nothing but an agricultural tool, he killed 600 enemy soldiers alone and saved an entire nation. Today we're going to dig into those 2 verses and unpack everything hidden inside them. Because I'm telling you, what God packed into the story of Shamgar is going to wreck the excuse you've been holding on to. Stay with me. To understand Shamgar, you have to understand what Israel looked like when he showed up. It was bad. Really bad. The book of Judges is basically a recurring nightmare. Israel turns from God. God allows an enemy nation to oppress them. They cry out, God raises up a deliverer. They get free, and then they do it all over again. By the time we get to Shamgar, the Philistines, one of Israel's most ruthless enemies, had such a grip on the land that people had stopped using the main roads entirely. Look at what the prophetess Deborah says in Judges 5, verse 6. In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were unoccupied, and the travelers walked through byways. People were so afraid they had abandoned the highways. They were sneaking through back roads to avoid being attacked. Commerce had stopped. Community had stopped. The fear of the Philistines had paralyzed an entire nation. That is the world Shamgar walked out into. The text verse is unpacked. Now here it is. Judges chapter 3, verse 31. The entire account, in full. And after him was Shamgar, the son of Anath, which slew of the Philistines 600 men with an ox goad. And he also delivered Israel. That's it. That's the whole story. But let's not rush past what's actually in there, because there are at least 4 things hidden in this one verse that will change the way you see your own situation. Number 1. His name. Shamgar means sword in some ancient traditions, but here's what's interesting. The name Anath was the name of a Canaanite war goddess. Some scholars believe Shamgar may not have even been a full Israelite. He may have been a Canaanite convert, a man on the margins of the community. God didn't use the obvious candidate. He used the outsider. Number 2. What he had: an ox goad, not a sword, not a spear, not a trained battalion. An ox goad, essentially a sharpened wooden pole, 6 to 8 feet long, used to prod stubborn oxen in the field. It was a farmer's tool. This man was not a warrior. He was a worker. Number 3. What he did: 600 Philistine soldiers. We don't know if this happened in a single battle or across multiple engagements, but 600 is not a rounding error. 600 is an army. He didn't retreat. He didn't wait for someone more qualified. He used what was in his hand. Number 4. The result: he also delivered Israel. Not he tried, not he helped. He delivered the entire nation. 2 verses. 1 man, 1 tool, 1 God. Here's the part I want you to sit with. Shamgar didn't wait until he had the right weapon. He didn't wait until the Philistines were weaker, or until Israel had a real army, or until someone more qualified showed up. He started where he was, with what he had, in the condition his nation was already in, and God honored it. I want to ask you something directly. What is the ox goad in your hand right now? Because I talk to people all the time who are waiting. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for more resources. Waiting for someone to give them permission. Waiting until they feel ready. And meanwhile, the highways are empty. People are taking back roads. Fear has shut things down. Shamgar's story is Scripture's answer to every "I'm not qualified" prayer you've ever prayed. Moses had a shepherd's staff. David had a sling. Samson had a jawbone. And Shamgar had a pointed stick he used on cows. God doesn't seem particularly impressed by your resume. He seems far more interested in your availability. What would happen if you just started with what you have, where you are today? Here's something I think about in the world we're living in right now. We live in an age where everyone is looking for the most powerful tool, the best technology, the biggest platform, the greatest resources, and those things have their place. But Shamgar's story is a reminder that the most powerful force on this earth is not a tool, it is a person surrendered to God, a person willing to step onto the highway when everyone else is taking the back roads. The Philistines had armies, strategies, supply lines, weapons of iron, and one man with a farming tool dismantled them. Don't let the size of what's in your hand fool you. It's not about the tool. It's about the hand it's in and whose name that hand is moving in. Shamgar gets 2 verses. No chapter, no song named after him. Well, almost. Deborah mentions him once in passing, in her victory song in chapter 5. That's all history gave him. But what are 2 verses? What a life! An ordinary man who picked up an ordinary tool and did an extraordinary thing, because somebody had to, and he was there. You're there too. Right now. In whatever field you're standing in. Pick up your ox goad. If this video encouraged you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs to hear that God still uses ordinary people with ordinary tools. Hit that subscribe button. We're diving into more of these forgotten stories that the Sunday school lessons skip over. And leave a comment below. What's the ox goad in your hand right now? I read every single one. God bless you. I'll see you in the next one.